Seterusnya, kami menyerahkan majlis kepada Ketua Hakim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you to the wonderful Master of Ceremony. Yeah. Right. So, firstly, I would like to welcome the audience to the finals debate for Piala Debat Sultan Zainal Abidin 2020. Give a round of applause to you guys. And also to the finalists of the debate itself. Round of applause. Alright, without further ado, with the motion assuming possibility, this House believes that environmental activists and allies should leave the earth instead of trying to save it. I would like to invite the first speaker from the government side, Mr. Prime Minister himself, here. Mr. Speaker, the earth is dying. That is the fact that we have to face in the current situation, Mr. Speaker. The earth is dying. Assuming possibility, this House believes that environmental activists and allies should leave the earth instead of trying to save it, Mr. Speaker. The stance that government sides believe in is we believe that they should leave the earth is because they should be able to have the opportunity and should have the chance to live a better life without any condemnation, without any discrimination from any parties, Mr. Speaker. Before that, we have to understand the importance of environmental activists and allies in saving the environment in the situation, Mr. Speaker. Environmental activists and allies are here to save the earth, Mr. Speaker. They have been trying throughout this whole era, Mr. Speaker, trying to save the earth, and look at how it goes. Look how what happens now, Mr. Speaker. Natural disasters, more pollution, Mr. Speaker. So in a way, the government do acknowledge there are some efforts, there are some methods applied by the government throughout the whole, Mr. Speaker, in reducing or saving the environment, Mr. Speaker. However, those efforts are failing, Mr. Speaker. Those efforts are not succeeding or are not reaching the objectives. Pollution still happens. Animals still dying, Mr. Speaker. People are dying, Mr. Speaker. Everyone is dying. The earth is dying. Those efforts, Mr. Speaker, does not really save the earth or really save the environment, Mr. Speaker. We do acknowledge that the earth might be saved, Mr. Speaker. But since these environmental activists and allies have been trying so hard, Mr. Speaker, and are failing, Mr. Speaker, we believe that they should leave the earth instead of trying to save it. But why are they failing, Mr. Speaker? This is the question that we must answer in this debate. They are failing because there are people who don't support their movement, Mr. Speaker. There are people who do not care at all about this movement, Mr. Speaker. We try to reduce plastic waste. We try to reduce the plastic waste. We try to control the usage of straw. We try to control the air pollution and everything, Mr. Speaker. But still, there are a lot of people who refuse to implement those methods in saving the environment in their daily life, Mr. Speaker. There are still people who use the plastics. There are still people who use straws, Mr. Speaker. There are still people who corrupt the environment, Mr. Speaker. And we believe that it is not the fault of these environmental activists and allies in making the earth a worse place, Mr. Speaker. They tried, Mr. Speaker, but they are failing, and because of their efforts, does not really gain the support of this entire environment and everything, Mr. Speaker. We believe that they should leave the earth because they deserve to have the opportunity and chance to live a better life, Mr. Speaker. So, technically, the government provides a choice for the humans in this world, Mr. Speaker, whether they want to support the environment or whether they don't want to support the environment. If they do, Mr. Speaker, we believe that they should just leave the earth instead of trying to save it, because we believe that the earth may not be beyond saving, but the saving possibility, Mr. Speaker, we believe that they should leave the earth to have a better life in the way we speak. And we do not want to help people who do not want to be safe. And environmental problems is a never-ending vicious cycle, Mr. Speaker. One problem may be solved, and then there will be another problem that may be created by this anti-environmentalist, Mr. Speaker. There will always be environmental problems due to this ignorance, due to these bad people, Mr. Speaker. This is why we believe that these environmental activists and allies should live in peace, should live in peace, should live in the way that they want, should live in a clean air and everything, Mr. Speaker. Thus, we believe that they should leave this earth instead of trying to save it. Before that, please.
So do you agree that these environmental activists should not leave because apparently disasters keeps on happening and they need to be here to aware people?
Mr. Speaker, yes. Yes. They have to leave, Mr. Speaker, because they are the one who's trying to save the earth. But we have to understand, there are two types of people, Mr. Speaker. One that supports the environment and one that do not love the environment. And currently the winning side is the one who do not love the environment. That's the current status quo that is happening in the current world, Mr. Speaker. Why should they want to save the people who do not want to be saved? Why should they be the only one who tries everything and anything that they can to save the environment, while we letting this anti-environment to just enjoy whatever things that are proposed by these environmental activists and allies, Mr. Speaker. Because, as I said just now, Mr. Speaker, they should live in the environment, they deserve the opportunity and chance to live in a better life. So, Mr. Speaker, in the government paradigm, we have three different stakeholders that we are going to discuss in this debate. The first, the current people on the earth, Mr. Speaker, which are the current generation of people, Mr. Speaker. And second, the future generation and the third stakeholders is the earth itself, Mr. Speaker. We will be talking about these three different stakeholders in this debate. And we are leaving the earth, Mr. Speaker. We are not abandoning the people. We are saving the people who actually cares for the environment, Mr. Speaker. We are actually saving the people who matters to the environment, Mr. Speaker. Thus, we are not abandoning anything, Mr. Speaker. We just save people who want to be saved. That's it, Mr. Speaker. That is what the government wants to bring this debate. The burden of proof that we want to throw to the opposition side is they should first how they want to solve the earth current condition, and second, how they will want to ensure the longevity of the human generation itself. So my first argument will be about the second chance, Mr. Speaker. How environmental activists and allies should leave the earth because they deserve a second chance. Second chance is important, Mr. Speaker, for these environmental activists and allies, Mr. Speaker, in living in a proper way, Mr. Speaker, because they fight for the environment, they should get the product of what they are fighting for, Mr. Speaker. This living the earth, Mr. Speaker, actually provides for that, Mr. Speaker. They deserve some peace in their life. And then they also believe that environmental activists and allies should live the earth because this second chance can help them in focusing what's matter more in their life, Mr. Speaker. You can prioritize environment all your life, Mr. Speaker, but anyway, you are still human. They have their own needs and everything, Mr. Speaker. We believe that they should have the chance to focus on something that can improve themselves more. Thus, we believe that environmental activists and allies should leave the earth because first, it provides a second chance for these environmental activists and allies in having the life that they want because they deserve the chance and opportunity to live a better life. Thank you.
Alright, thank you to the Prime Minister from the government side. Now I'd like to invite the respectful leader of opposition from the opposition side in here.
According to Declaration of United Nations, Conference on the Human Environment in Stockholm, 1972, has already stated in Article 2 of it. The protection and improvement of human environment is a major issue, which affects the well-being of peoples and economic development throughout the world. It is the urgent desire of all the peoples of the whole world and duty of all government. Apparently, government believe that they want to save the people that only they care of. They doesn't want to save all the people that they want to stand by only saving them environmental activists and discriminating all the peoples in the earth. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you for giving me the chance to be your leader opposition for today's debate. This house, for today's motion, this house, assuming possibility, this house believes that environmental activists and allies should leave the earth instead of trying to save it. But we are from the opposition for today. We oppose this motion because we believe that, according to our school, we considering the good effects brought by environmental activists and allies to ensure that the environmental situation is continuously relevant nowadays. However, before I start with the presentation from our side opposition, let me start with a rebuttal session for the government side. Apparently, Prime Minister has said in early stage of his presentation, he stated that the earth is dying. However, if the earth is dying, then why should him ask the environmental activists to leave? Because the earth is dying. We need the environmental activists because without them, there will be no awareness raised by them, and then people will keep forgetting about how the nature is dying and need them to support these motions clearly. And also this movement eventually. And also according to their stance, they believe that environmental activists should have a better life without discrimination. I just would like to ask them. This book has already stated about discrimination. However, how about other people that they have discriminated by only give the chance for environmental activists to live in a better way? Why not we ask the environmental activists and ourselves to work together to ensure that the earth can be lived together for all of us to be happy, not only to discriminate others. This cannot be accepted according to this motion for today, Mr. Speaker. And also, apparently according to him, it is because of natural disasters and also environmental problems that these people should live, because apparently their efforts failing because people do not support and do not care. I just want to ask the government. Only them who do not care about the environment, but did they know that the little child and even the old grown-up man has already started many campaigns, including the recycling campaign, the awareness campaign, to ensure that we love our nature. But apparently they just want to save the people that they want, and they doesn't even care about the people who's already behind the environmental activities all of this time to ensure that environmental keeps on moving forward. And also, apparently, the big mistake done by the government for today's debate, because they only focusing on environmental activists, but they never showed us what is the allies of environmental activists that we should focus on, that the ones that support them in every step that they have done to ensure that the environment keeps on growing and growing over and over again. Before I start questioning them, yes please.
How much more can the environmental activists should try again? And what if still with all the trying of years, the change has not come?
That's why should be answered by them, Mr. Speaker. Because apparently they need to show to us how much the environmental activist has done and also what is the progress of environmental activities to ensure that this awareness has been shown by people, but apparently the effectiveness of it cannot be seen. But because apparently, as we see in United Nations 2030 Sustainable Goals, has already stated that the nature should be conserved slowly, and by 2030 we can ensure that the earth is sustainable for all. So this plan of nature conservation and also environmental activities done by environmental activists is not for the short plan term, it's for long plan term. But apparently they want to cut short this plan and just destroy the earth and just let those people live and discriminating others. And also apparently they stated that there are two types of people in here, which is the first one who love environment, and also people who did not love it. I just want to ask them. We live in earth. So who doesn't love earth? Even me and them love earth, and the opposition also love earth. But apparently they didn't love all this community and society inside the earth, and they just want to see the earth become destroyed, and just take some people that they love and they get and just go away and leave it. That's the mistakes done by the government for today. And also apparently, according to the formats that should be shown by the government, Prime Minister for today, he didn't classify to us about the definitions of today's motion, because apparently, today's motion regarding assuming possibility, this house believe that environmental activists should leave the earth instead of trying to save it. He didn't give us the mechanism of how these environmental activists should be classified and get into classification before they can even consider to leave the earth. And so they didn't give us the possibility of what's going to happen if these environmental activists keep on staying in earth. Because apparently these environmental activists done many long-term plans that I will prove to you by the arguments given by opposition just after this, but apparently they didn't believe it, and also according to their scope and also their mechanism and angle of debate, it's just irrelevant regarding this motion for today, because apparently they only focus on leaving environmental activists, but they didn't care about the allies and the effect of today's motion, which environment, which is the earth. They didn't care about the earth, and they define and they scope it until we cannot understand about today's motion. I just truly disappointed with government for today, because apparently they didn't understand about the motions given. And also apparently I will give you the first point from the government side, from the opposition side. We believe that government's policy and embracing environmental activism is already enough, because apparently according to the Environmental Act in Malaysia has stated that government of each state and organization were encouraged to work together to ensure that environmental activities can be done efficiently. And also according to Federal Constitution 9th Schedule D has stated that the government of state were entitled to embrace the preservation and conservation of nature with the support from people. And also government has already organized many events with the NGOs and environmental activists, such as, I'll give you an example, wildlife conservation in Kuala Gangga Conservation Centre with World Wildlife Foundation WWF. They have shown to us that environmental activities not being abandoned, but they being loved. If you love environment, if you love environmental activists, love opposition. Thank you.
Right, I'd like to thank the Leader of Opposition for his speech. Now I'd like to invite the Deputy Prime Minister to deliver their speech. Here.
Good morning to the hall of debate. Today I'll be providing the rebuttals for the opposition side, my arguments, my reasoning, my evidence to support my arguments, and the linkage between me and my first speaker towards the motion today. Here's the thing. The side opposition keep telling us about the United Nations, the Stockholm, the 2030 sustainable goals. The environment is crucial issue to all people. I consider the fact that United Nations are trying to obtain is trying to curb this current issue, but they've forgotten about the current status quo that's happening here today. The earth is dying, the earth is ill, and environmentalists is being discriminated anyway, because for some reason they fail to recognize the love-hate situation that they are providing in their paradigm, because they just want the environmentalists to be here, but they don't want to really care about them. They don't want to really care about what is they're actually doing, because in their the rebuttals that I'm going to provide today is on the discrimination that they said towards the environmentalists, the only point that they have provided anyway. So the discrimination here is only catered around towards the people of the earth, but the motion today read the environmental activists and allies, meaning that those who support or those who care about the environment instead of those who doesn't care about the environment. We are beating both sides by saying that they are discriminating the environmentalists anyway, because the mechanism that they provide doesn't really change the status quo. because they only are prolonging. They just want to say that we are trying, but that is only a cloak of guilt, because they are not trying to do anything anyway, because they are discriminating the environmentalists. Moving on to my status quo of this government is that the number of people who care are not significant if compared to those who care. And my second status quo is the earth is beyond saving anyway. So the stakeholder that is in the current situation here today is those who care, the future generation, and the earth herself. And the stance that we provide in our paradigm is we believe that people cares about the environment should be able to have the chance and opportunity to live a better life without being condemned. And the comparative analysis that we provide today is towards those who is when we leave the earth and when we do not leave the earth. Either we will die in vain or we will able to survive another generation. And the domino effect that we provide today is towards the holistic view of being positive, meaning that if we actually try, we may survive longer rather than just being ignorant like side opposition here today, being not realistic to the current status quo. And like seriously, opposition is not even trying to save the earth. They just try to prolong the current status quo by giving us the United Nations and so on. Moving on to my argument, but before that, please.
You see, about trying to save the earth, that's why you want environmental activists to leave. That's why we say here, they should stay, because we want to save the earth for all of people to live together.
In my next argument, I will literally try to explain the POI that he gave me just now, which is the ignorance, the option that we actually provided, the second chance that we actually given to the people of the earth, but they just still keep on being ignorant anyway. And the ignorance today is the people who do not believe on the environmental activist view. They fail to consider the fact that it is important and crucial now to help the earth instead of just doing what they are doing right now, is killing the earth. And my next point is they ignore the reason and the environment around them, which is currently is being very ill. And like I said, arguing with them is just circling around the motion and the status quo anyway. And the option that we provide, which is we are providing options to those who actually care to survive, our allies and environmentalists, and we are giving the ignorant to administrate their own earth, meaning that if you want to still be ignorant, you can administrate your own earth, but we are trying to survive, so we must leave the earth for the better good. And the second chance here is towards the activists, towards the allies who really cares about the earth. We care about the earth, and because of that, we want this second chance to prove to them, to those ignorants, that we care more about the people, we care more about the prolonging of the survivability of the people, instead of just ignoring the fact that we are killing the earth and we are killing the people inside it anyway. And this second chance is towards the activists and allies. This is to prove that we can live and survive longer than the ignorance, and it is fair for those who care to receive this chance to utilize and utilize to the very good. And my evidence here today is assuming the possibility, we can get a clear example of a film that is close to us, which is Wall-E. Have you seen the big dumpster that the earth is trying to be? This is why we shouldn't let opposition win anyway, because they will create a big dumpster of the earth. So, but what is here today is the human actually survive. They survive long enough to cater their own generation and to live and actually live, but the earth is still dying. The condition of earth is very ill, and it is beyond saving. And many proof here today that I can provide, which is the Green New Deal in America being rejected and by politicians, and environmentalists are being politicized anyway in the current status quo, and the pollution, the sea turtles is actually dying, and many flora and fauna is dying, Australia burning fire. So if you want to tell us why we shouldn't leave the earth, give us progress, give us proof that you are actually trying to do something instead of just telling us that we can do the very good if the activists actually stay. You are disputing the environmentalists anyway and the allies or those who actually care because you think that you are better than them and you know better than them and you think that you can politicize everything. That is not what we are trying to fight for. We are trying to fight for survivability, and they are clearly ignorant enough to prove to us that how they have managed to show us evidence on why we should stay anyway. And we would like to clear our stance today again, which is we believe that people who cares about the environment should be able to have a better chance and opportunity to live a better life without being condemned. Here is my case.
Thank you to the Deputy Prime Minister from the government side. Now I'd like to invite the Deputy Leader of Opposition to deliver their speech here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been witnessing the deeply cynical proposition that delivering arrow of strawmen, distortions, false information, and of course straight-up propaganda. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, I bid to the government side, my colleagues on the opposition, members of the floor, and of course the lovely audience. Before I continue with my arguments and rebuttals of my speech, thank you. I will be contending the scope defined by my esteemed leader of opposition, which is that we are considering the good effects brought by the climate activists and allies to ensure the environmental issue to ensure that the environmental issue is continuously relevant. On the motion that assuming possibility, this House believes that environmental activists and allies should leave the earth instead of trying to save it. This opposition scope aligns the motion of today in an understandable, reasonable, and more importantly, debatable manner. On that regard, let us proceed to the rebuttal session. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be exciting. Now, in his speech, the Prime Minister insinuated that climate activists and their allies would not be the people involved in relocation. I would respond by saying that a majority, if it's safe to say, that all climate activists and their allies have sacrificed their entire life to combat this issue. They fight because of hope. Their very stance is driven by that. As a climate activist myself, I wouldn't have to think twice about rejecting this absurd offer. As enforced by my leader of opposition, we would need these activists more now than ever, given the government's scary situation that this earth is dying. Moving on, I would like to rebut the points of the second speaker, who put out the discrimination policies that we have towards these climate activists and allies, and that we are ignorant on this matter. Now, this basically rebukes their very, for many, reason of existence. What does that tell them? What does that tell the climate activists and allies about their years of research and priceless progress that comes with it? This government is focused on survival, which to an extent is fair, but let's be real here. They don't really care about the activists and the allies. They don't care about the earth. On the film reference, might I just add, as a film enthusiast myself, the ending of WALL-E was that the humans returned to Earth on the motivation of hope back then. Now, they made it very clear with their astonishing set of speeches that they don't care about the climate activists who are the very people and allies who are the very people that we are talking about today. Please sit down. I would like to now clear that up and move on to my two arguments that I will be proposing for this motion. On this, we as the opposition would like to